So here are some examples of hardware. So so these are input and output. So hardware are all the physical parts that make up the computer, whether they're input or output. So we've got a monitor, a keyboard, a mouse, speakers, printer, scanner, microphone, and we've got a hard disk drive. Now, where does the hard disk drive fit in?
Inside the computer.
Now, here's a question that's going to make you think. Is it input or output?
Input.
No, but well done for trying.
Because
No, it's not even that. It's completely different. It's storage. So hardware can also include the storage. So the hardware are the physical parts that make up the computer, whether they're input or output or storage.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be output and input, because inside my one, when I press the button, it comes out, and a disc fits in it, and then you can put it in, then you can write, then you can just like put it into a machine, and then wouldn't it make out sound? Oh yeah, because the speakers will do the sound, and that will be the storage.
I understand what you're saying, but if you can store data on it, we call it storage. And we have two different types of storage. We have, like this one here, the hard disk drive, we have primary storage, which is inside the computer, but we also have secondary storage, so that, for instance, if we want to move data from one computer to another, we have secondary storage. So we're going to talk about that a little later, but basically the hardware is broken down into input and output and storage.
Yes.
Software then are the programs that make up the computer system. So that might be business applications like Microsoft Office with word processing, spreadsheet, presentations, etc. It might be the games that you play. Those are still software. It might be Google applications like Google Docs for word processing, Google Sheets. It might be Google Chrome to access your web browser. It might be your email. It might be your Google Drive where you can save your data. So all of these are software. So, in your own words then, explain input, process and output. So what is input in your own words?
Input is like something that you use and it will make it go like inside the computer, such as a keyboard.
And we've got lots of examples here. So we've got a trackball, a touchpad, a light pen, a joystick, a scanner, a touch screen, a graphics tablet, a mouse, a keyboard, a barcode reader, a QR reader, a microphone, a camera, and an optical mark reader. Are there any of those you don't know what they are?
I don't know what a trackball is.
Okay. A trackball is what you use when you're playing games, and it just literally is a big, huge ball, and it tracks. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Joystick, I know that. And what's a QR reader?
Yeah. You know when you get tiny little.
Oh.
And they have little markings.
Yes.
And there's nothing that you as a human could understand from that. But when you use your QR scanner from your phone, it can understand what those pixels are, and it can then open up the message that you actually need. So you see them all over the place now to give information, because you use your QR scanner with your phone, and then it opens up more information.
Yes.
Have you seen them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then process, what's in your understanding was process?
So it's when, so on the computer, it say you got like the disk input thing, and inside, and then you put something in like a disk, and then the computer like starts seeing what it is, and then it will start up on the computer.
Okay, so the process matches up your data input to its program.
Yes.
Okay? And then output. What was your understanding of output?
So hardware like monitors, because it will like give you the information outside, or like a headphone because you can hear it and it comes out.
Good. So it's the data out of the computer system. And the examples we've got here are printer, monitor, speakers, and an alarm. Do you know what a VDU is?
No.
It's what they used to call a monitor or a screen. It stands for visual display unit.
Yeah.
They don't often use that word anymore.
Yeah.
So we talked about input, which is data going into the computer. We talked about process, which is matching up the data to its program.
Yes.
And we talked about output, which is the data coming out of the computer system. And we touched on storage. So now we're going to look a little bit more at different types of storage. Okay, so do you recognize all of these? So hard disk drive, that's inside the computer.
Yes.
You might have an external hard disk drive. Do you have one of these?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Do you have a memory card?
Yes.
Where might you have a memory card?
A camera.
Perfect. And then a flash drive. You probably have a flash drive, a memory stick somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. How about one of these ones?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Do you know what this one is?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a Blu-ray disc. It used to start off with a CD, a compact disc, but then that didn't have enough capacity for people to store what they wanted. So these compact discs, the CDs, years ago, they'd save some data, but not enough. People wanted to save movies so they could watch them, for instance. So then they brought out DVDs, digital visual discs. Those then also weren't big enough. People wanted to save lots of movies, not just one. So as time has gone on, they've improved those discs. And the one that you're probably more familiar with is the Blu-ray disc. Do you have any?
Yes.
Good, okay. And then this last one here, we've got a solid state drive, an SSD drive. Do you have one of these, or don't you know?
Yeah, I've seen it in my house, but I don't know what it's used for.
Okay, you see that first one, the hard disk drive?
Yeah.
It's kind of big and bulky, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's inside the computer, and if you move the computer, there are bits inside here that would move around and it might get damaged. But they've been in computers for years. But this SSD, this solid state drive, this one is like memory chips, and there's nothing inside it that moves, and it's much, much smaller. So some of the newer computers don't have a hard disk drive anymore. They put in an SSD, a solid state drive. But because it's better, it's much, 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 much more expensive. So if you go out and you buy a computer and you think, that's a reasonable price, I'll buy that. That probably still has a hard disk drive in it. If you look at one and it's really expensive and you think, why is it so expensive? It's probably because it has a solid state drive inside it instead. Because if you've got a hard disk drive, it means that you've got quite a big, bulky computer, yes?
Yeah.
And now that people want laptops and smaller devices, the chances are they want a more portable, compact type of computer. So if they put in a solid state drive, immediately you've got a more slimlined computer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, let's look at then the different types of devices. So this one is a passport scanner. Have you used these before?
No, but I've in the airport.
Good,
I saw
yes.
the man.
Yep, so you literally put your passport on there and it scans the data. So we're talking about input, process, output. So what is the input here? What data is going into the computer system?
The information from
Yes.
the password. No, I mean the passport.
Yes, there's actually a barcode in there that it's reading. So what is the process? What is the computer doing with that barcode?
It's processing it.
Exactly right. So it's checking the barcode against its software. So its software, it has a database of gazillions of codes, and it's matching up to check that barcode matches up with somebody who they actually want to let into the country. What would the output be? So the person, they put their passport down, it's read the barcode, it's matched up the barcode to say, yes, it's okay. What is the output then?
The output is like the person's information.
Yes, although they wouldn't actually show that, but they would display, yes, it's okay, you can come into the country. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at another one. So this one is an automatic windscreen wiper. Do you have an automatic windscreen wiper on your car?
No.
No, nor do I. Yeah, I have to switch a button onto mine. But it is possible to actually have an automatic windscreen wiper. So the input is actually when the rain falls on the windscreen.
Yeah. Then the
So
process.
it using what? Can you remember what type of input device this might be, beginning with an S? So not a mouse, not a keyboard, nothing like that. What was the one that I talked about? The movement.
It's sensor.
Exactly right. So this input is a sensor. So when the rain falls on the screen, there's a sensor on the windscreen to detect it's actually moisture raining. So then the process, so the computer is thinking, there's water on the windscreen, and my program says that I need to do something. So it's matching up that rain with what it knows. What then would be the output?
The windscreen moving.
Exactly right. The windscreen wipers would turn on. Yeah, how about this one?
Fingerprint clocking.
Yeah, so fingerprint registration system. So these are used quite widely, and they all look quite different. But if it's a fingerprint one, and I know some schools have these in their canteens.
Yeah.
Do you know of these?
Yeah, my one used to have. My one has one.
Perfect. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. So instead of actually for the student to have to take money in, etc., your parent pays a certain amount into an account. So you have an amount that you can spend, and then you come along, put your finger on, and the computer system recognises you. Yep.
For my one, you had to bring like coins, and then there was like this machine. Yeah, you had to first put your finger on it to detect who it was, and then you have to put the money in, and then it goes to your account.
Yeah. Good. But was that separate? You had your fingerprint, but also if you ran out of money, you put